The next person who is going to come onto the stage doesn't need an introduction. He lives, breathes in promoting Indian diaspora. He's someone who's an entrepreneur. He's a philanthropist. He's someone who's promoting a lot of actually like founders as an investor of Indian origin across the world too. And I'm super excited to be like inviting the founder of Indiaspora and a dear friend of all of us in this room and to many of us across the world, Mr. M R Rangaswami. MR, thank you for being here to be hosting the next session. And he's going to be having two amazing young and next generation founders from India. One is Sourabh from Skit.ai. Another one is Karthik, a serial second-time entrepreneur from India who has co-started Zocket.ai too. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Priya. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for staying till the end. Again, my stamp could be a little better. That's the only thing. My stamp. Yeah, could make me look better. Just kidding. So let me get Karthik. Where's Karthik? And Sourabh, come on up, guys. I met them on Zoom a couple of weeks ago, so good to see you again. Hi, Sourabh. Please have a seat. I think we're one of the last sessions. A lot is being talked about today in terms of the Indian decade, what's happening in India, the global, the economic climate of India, and the different things that happen, and the unicorns, and so on and so forth. But now we're going to focus on AI. Really, two AI startups that have come out of India, and what they're up to, what the AI scene is like in India. So let's just start with just a little bit of a backdrop on each one of you, and then we'll get into the details. Right?
Thank you, Mark. So my name is Karthik. So I run Zocket.ai. So we are a SAAS product automating digital advertising using proprietary LLM models using AI. Right. So and I'm also a serial entrepreneur. So built a business based in India, sold it in India. This time we are building from India for the globe. So it's a global SaaS product. We are used by businesses across 12 countries. So we use this AI, self-learning AI, to help businesses generate more revenue from social media ads. Right. So that's what we do with AI.
How about you, Sourabh?
Hi everyone, Sourabh, co-founder, CEO of Skit.ai. I started this a few years ago in final semester of college with a few friends. And first we moved to Bangalore after college. We wanted to start work in the edge of technology. We did not know what to do. Vani was very helpful that she gave us an office space even when we had no idea what we were going to do. So that's sort of how we started. And then later she gave us the first check as well. So very thankful to her. We didn't know what to do, but we knew we were tech people. We wanted to work on the edge of technology. AI, back in the days it was coming up. We picked up voice AI. Call center seemed like a good application for voice AI. So that's how we started. We built a business in India for the first few years. Some of the larger enterprises are our customers there. 3 years ago, I moved to New York to build a business in the US. We work in the financial services market here. 12 months ago, we had like 12 customers. Right now, we're close to 100, so we're really scaling up our business in the US.
Great. So a couple of things. How is the AI scene in India for startups? Can you guys give us a little feel for how you operate, what other companies are there, how the market is?
Yeah, see, the AI scene in India, it got super bombed up after the ChatGPT, OpenAI and stuff. And today you have companies, right? So building from India for India, right? So see, even when you talk about LLMs and stuff, so you have this OpenAI, you have stable diffusion models, you have DALLs, etc. So which produce really good outputs specific to the US context in the scenario, right? So let's say you want to in-paint an image, create a video, create an image. These models produce really good outputs, right, which can be consumed in the US market, right? But when it comes to India, right, so then the context of not only English, the vernacular languages come in. So you need data sets in local languages, vernacular languages to train your models, etc. So like lots of companies, since I come from Chennai, I come from Madras, I think you also come from there. And so we used to work with IIT Madras, right? So they have this initiative called AI for Bharat, right? So that I would say was the starting point. A couple of years back when we were just getting started with Zocket, so we used to get the data sets from IIT Madras just to train our models, right? So they have data sets only for text generation models, right? So today we have video generation models, image generation models at Zocket, but the availability of data sets, right? So compared to a US market, to have a model generate a relevant output, right, for an Indian business or for an Indian user. But that has kind of accelerated dramatically, right, in the last 12 to 18 months. Today you see companies like Putrium, Sourabh AI, which is building, proprietary LLM models for a variety of use cases, right? See, today you have vernacular AI voice assistants, right? So trained on these data sets. Today, Zocket generates vernacular ad copies, images. Today, we generate videos which are Hindi plus English, which can be consumed as really good ad copies in Facebook, Instagram. So because when it comes to social media, people consume a lot of content in vernacular. In YouTube, 99% of the searches happen in vernacular languages. If you go to tier 1, tier 2 cities outside of the metro cities in India, right? So this availability of data or put together as a consolidated data sets was a constraint, but that has opened up significantly, right? So with this concept of open sourcing, today people are ready to share their data, right? Purely for the purpose of training models, right? And you have Ola's founded building, very large LLM, which is also getting open sourced a bit, right? So people are coming together, the Indian founders are coming together just purely to build a model which will generate output specific to India, right? So because I don't think US based founders will be able to do it far better than that's my personal view.
How about you, Sourabh? I mean, the one thing that seems to stand out with India is the vernacular. You have 22 languages, all that stuff. Are you also seeing that evolve?
Yeah, so funnily when we started, we were called vernacular.ai. And we were the first ones to sort of build speech-to-text models for Indian languages. The only other company that had it back in the days was Google, and it was pretty bad. Like you couldn't really, use it in the Indian context. So we saw a massive opportunity in just building the speech models. The precursor to that was how do you train a model? Where do you even get data for training a voice AI engine? So we went out there, we collected like thousands of hours of tagged data set of people talking in different languages, then we build those models, etc. And this sort of talks about the opportunity of AI in India. Like there's so much of that Indian context in various ways which is missed here, right? So you can't really. So that's on the opportunity part. But interestingly, I think Krishna at some point was talking earlier, and he was talking about the difference of banking he sees in Dallas versus Bangalore. We sell to a lot of banks in India. That's how we initially started. Most of the large banks in India are customers. And when we came here, we are also selling into financial services. And we are in the process of closing a large deal with one of the bigger banks in the US. And we are selling them what we sold in India like 4 years ago. Funnily, when we are telling them that we've already done this 4 years ago, it's deployed, it's working at scale. This comes as a shock to a lot of people here because everyone would sort of assume that banks here are more digital or adopting technology faster than back in India. So I would argue that we have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of my friends, juniors, seniors from college who started companies and they're doing really well within India and outside.
So this whole thing of build in India, built for the world concept is something you guys are embracing now, right? Your products are built in India. I know, Sourabh, you've moved to India. When are you moving? Move to the US. When are you going to move?
This is my second visit to SF in just 6 months' time frame, maybe soon, right? So, yeah, see, I think, so there was a saying, right? So right at the start, so somebody spoke, right? So if you drive a car in Delhi, right? So then you can drive elsewhere, right? So in fact, first time when I visited San Francisco around 4 months back, I was staying at my cousin's place, and she was very reluctant to give her car to me. I told India driving license is valid, please give. Right? So, so I drove beautifully well, right? Just to relate it to business, right? SaaS businesses, I just have the same takeaway, right? If you build a business for Indian businesses, B2B SaaS, I'm finding selling in US much more easier, right? So I have navigated every challenge, right? Right from the pricing and others, right? So you have this terminology in Hindi which is called conjuice, right? So Indian businesses, B2B, they won't pay for SaaS, right? So now I'm finding it much more easier to sell the same software product, which, you know, the US-based businesses are ready to pay a premium and, you know, use it far more, you know. So that's the analogy I would like to give, right, with regards to my own experience, right? So.
How about you? You moved to New York, I think, a few months ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's been almost 3 years now. But I think at some point of time, we knew that TAM was a concern in India when we can build technology, but if you're in an enterprise software kind of play, like there's only so much of a business you can build. And we knew, we took a call, we were fighting that for a long time, but then we took a call that, you know, we want to build a very large company and we have to be where the market is. We explored Southeast Asia for a while before we realized the GDP of Southeast Asia is equal to the GDP of India. So there's no, you know, point of going there. And then we decided on US. I think we tried doing US sitting in India for some time, you know, those late night calls, etc. But then one of us had to move, and ended up being me. And then I moved, I mean, the experience was like when I moved to New York, I knew 0 people in New York. I remember I lived in a hotel for the first 2 months. I got a co-working space. I was the only one working there. And then, you know, one thing led to another. Then I hired one person, and, you know, so on and so forth. We built a business. So I think it was like, it was challenging to start because all of our business was in India. We had 0 customers in the US. I knew no one, and I moved here. But I think like it's the best call we took. And today, you know, we have, you know, a team here. We have people coming in and out. This is where the market is. We fundamentally, we really believe we're going to build a very, very large company in the next 3 to 4 years.
So talk about the US market. What about Europe? Because I think we talked about this earlier. When you have vernacular, Europe has 10, 20 languages. So could you replicate some of the Indian work in Europe, or is that too difficult?
Yeah, so we did think about it, obviously, because, you know, we were vernacular AI back then. But I think what made us choose US over Europe were 2 reasons. One was obviously TAM is again very large in US. I think US TAM, it ends up being for most software companies. I think like if you look at the largest of the software companies, 70-80% of their revenue comes from US, and then 20% is, you know, rest of the world. GTM also needs vernacular in Europe, which was a big concern for us. Like, you don't just need vernacular support in product, but you also need salespeople who can speak that language in sales meeting, you know, especially in some geographies. So that's why we chose US.
What is your experience?
So my experience with Europe goes 10 years back. So I was a sales guy in Europe selling analytics solutions, right, for a MNC. So I knew the language problems, right? So, but even after 10 years, right, today we still have the same problem. So you need to be, because we sit in India, sell it to the US, right? Easily speaking English, we have like a night shift telesales call center, etc., showing the product demos and stuff. But to Europe, you still have that language barrier, right? So to sell in Germany, you need to have German, and then you need to speak French, etc. That remains a barrier, but that depends on the type of customer segment you operate in, right? So see, since we sell to mid-market, we sell to small businesses, if there is a PLG motion in your product, right? So we are like a self-serve AI product. So businesses discover us online in Shopify, they just install our product, and then they do a self-service onboarding, and then they start their digital ads, right? So we create ad copies, etc. So I think it depends on what kind of customers you want to approach. If you want to target enterprise, you need to be there on the ground, talk the local language, or recruit local sales guys. I don't think they are going to sell you to Indian faces. And if it's like small self-serve PLG motion, it's like a Gmail, anybody from the world can, you know, just register and start sending mails.
Well, let me tell you this. You guys have AI products. So how are you using AI in your sales and marketing?
how are we using AI in our sales and marketing? Interestingly, what we ended up doing was, now that you're asking, what we ended up doing was we are using a lot of AI, and just internet, like sometimes we code for fun over the weekend, right? So we started analyzing a lot of our Salesforce data ourselves. So we started, we started analyzing data, which segments are working better for us, which segments are not working better for us. Those are the things that we do, but I think like in general, I would say that given the resources are always so limited, there's so much AI we have to do in our product that we stick to that.
How about you? Any
so
ideas?
it's a very interesting thing at our end. So we are a 0% marketing company, right? So we sell performance marketing automation to clients. So the first case study, what we project, after we show a demo of the product, is Zocket success story, right? How we use our own product, the AI modules, to run our own performance ads, to bring customers to sign up into our product and look for a demo or something, right? So I think that would summarize, right? So how we use AI at our own end, right? So today, and we also use AI to respond to, chat support. We have a chat support to respond to customers, and there also it's automated. In fact, our small businesses in India, right? So I'm going to talk about it. So they have a solution called click to WhatsApp ads, right? See, today WhatsApp has become like the OS of all the small businesses in India, in LATAM. US is the fourth biggest market for WhatsApp, right? So we also chat in WhatsApp up beyond, iMessaging, etc. Right? So we create the ad copies for a small business. When somebody clicks the ad, they directly enter the WhatsApp, right? So it doesn't stop there. So we auto respond to the conversation using our AI modules, so thereby helping a business owner to close a commerce inside WhatsApp, right? So the AI is penetrating from top of the funnel acquisition to supporting the business by responding to his own customers. I think AI is going to penetrate every other segment. So these are all some use cases which we have built already.
So as you move forward, how do you think your product set evolves as you move to the US? Talk a little bit about where your vision is to take the company.
Yeah, so see, since at Zocket, so we are, I think, operating at one of the largest TAMs, right? So you have like, we automate digital advertising workflow for businesses, right? Today, if you want to name two biggest companies on the globe, right? One is Meta, other is Google. They both do $550 billion in revenues, which is nothing but the ad revenues, right? And so today, this is spent by large enterprise customers, 60%, right? And there were agencies helping these guys, right? So creative agencies help them create good images, videos. You have performance agencies help them spend the money across channels. And if you go through the annual reports of Meta or Google, they clearly say in the next 5 years, they are targeting $1,200 billion, right? And the largest kind of saturated, and they feel that, so this bulk of these ad revenues is going to come from mid-market and small businesses, right? And somewhere while if you read all these things, it gives us a conviction that we are operating in the right market, right? Having said that, if you want to tap a SMB market, right, it cannot be the same traditional human-led agency approach, right? So this gives a scope for AI to build a beautiful self-serve AI product and do humanless marketing, right? So one of the philosophies what we believe in is, can we make marketing humanless? Right, so can it be automated 100%, which is what we are doing. So I think, so we are operating in one of the largest TAMs, right? So $1,200 billion market. And I know, I really don't know how big we will get, but I think our aim is to tap at least 10% of it.
Yeah, so we work in the customer support, again a large TAM, $300 billion is spent every year. We do a lot of conversational AI work, and we believe that, and there are a lot of companies that do that, but what we specialize in is debt management. So we are building a suite of AI software for debt management, a lot of which is conversational AI. And the way we think about it is like, you might, and let's say, if you were to go to the CIO of JP Morgan Chase or pitches, you might want to work with any conversational AI, we don't really care, but if it comes to debt management, then we are the guys. So we want to be the #1 debt management AI software company in the US, and there is so much to do just in that in the next 3 to 4 years that it's just going to keep us very busy.
Right. I mean, Karthik, your thing of doing humanless AI gets into if the other customer also uses humanless AI to respond to you, then I think.
Absolutely. So I am a firm believer that each one of us will be our own AI avatars. I'm not going to talk about metaverse, right? So imagine each one of us have a AI avatar, and we are just talking and having these human interactions. As we use more of technology, there will be a time when we will go back and start interacting with humans. At that point in time, our own self-AI avatars will take up the day-to-day jobs what we do, right? So writing emails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need a better stamp. I need a better stamp.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I think that sums up, right?
And you're doing debt collection, so I can see a customer using AI to kind of talk back at you, right? Since that's your initial product.
Yeah. And then funnily, like we have AI talking to AI also many times. It does happen, and we had to build a product for that to detect if it's an AI on the other side or if it's a human talking on the other side.
So to finish up this session, let me ask you one last question. What are the challenges that your companies face? I know everybody in the venture world is investing only in a .ai company now, right? So there's money coming into the space. All of you are AI companies. So what are the challenges besides capital, talent? Where do you see your priorities?
See, I think, so I'm a second-time entrepreneur, built from India for India, first time. Now I'm trying to crack the global GTM, right? So there are enough playbooks available, but I think a community, right, like this, which can, accelerate my learnings from, fellow entrepreneurs who would have done the same playbook in the last 10, 15 years. So that has been helping me, and I think that support system can really accelerate, Indian entrepreneurs who want to, scale globally as well. So I spoke about it because I think that's the key area which I'm daily looking out for support, right? So that was the top of my mind.
Yeah.
Sourabh?
I think for us, the bigger thing that the way we think about it is there are so many, because of LLM, there's like every other recent college grad is building another .ai company. So how do you sort of make an identity for yourself in a sense that how are you, creating that unique value which no one else is? That is one of the things that we think about a lot. And at least for us, the answer ended up being, being more vertical focused, building those deep integrations, etc. I mean, AI is coming, you have to adopt it, but it's also making a lot of older modes, they don't exist anymore. So like we collected that data for Indian languages back in the days, but today that's not a mode anymore because Google is good at that. So how do you think about that constantly is one of the bigger things that we think about.
I think soon there will be a product which can detect core proprietary LLMs versus applications built on someone else's LLMs, right? So that could be a good startup as well to help investors identify which is like a true LLM and the application built on already existing LLM, right?
Right. On that note, wish you all the best. We'll track you and your journeys over the next few years, and we'll have you back.
Thank you, Amar. It's absolute pleasure, and thank you,
Thank you, Vani and team,
for
having
putting
us.
this together.